These are bad for you. But they're really good. What's up, Rockstars? I'm chewing. How's it going today, guys? I'm going to be talking about Gamefound. I'm chewy. Very good, though. Highly recommended. I'm going to be talking about Gamefound and it becoming a dumping ground for board games. Thank you to my channel sponsor, Into the AM. As a company that believes hard work and a great product is a proper way to conduct business, I am delighted to have them as part of the channel. They have some of the coolest graphic t-shirts around and an absolute best fit and feel that has continually exceeded my expectations. With new shirts arriving all the time and other products like boxers, hats, and even a monthly shirt club, I wholeheartedly recommend them to you. Check out the link in my description of this video for an exclusive 10% off everything they sell. As always, a huge shout out to my patrons and YouTube members. It is through their financial support that I'm able to buy way too many of the... No, I'm kidding. It's for the channel, guys. This is an expensive hobby. You guys all know that. I use some very expensive equipment that I continue to upgrade to better get more efficiency out of what I do so I can make more videos at a higher quality for you guys. It's all thanks to them, so thank you so much to all of them. There's some cool benefits as like a Discord, some early access to some videos, a awesome community there that does like monthly painting competitions, all sorts of stuff there for you guys as well. There's a link down below if you choose to give. Thank you so much. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into this. Now, to bring everybody on the same page, I've covered this before, but I'm going to mention it again. Kickstarter has a new rule that's saying that essentially cannot run more than one project at once. We don't permit running multiple projects at the same time. However, if you're in good standing, which means that you're an experienced creator that has fulfilled at least 4 projects in the same group of projects that you're wanting to do multiple of, and you also demonstrated that you could abide by the community guidelines and maintained regular, open, and honest communication with backers when delivering the rewards that you promise and actually doing so. So you make 4, and even then you may launch and manage up to 3 unfulfilled projects back to back in their respective categories. So you can only have up to 3 unfulfilled projects, even if you are in good standing. And to get to good standing, you have to do at least 4 in the same category and just be deemed that. There's no application process. They just either say, hey, you're in good standing, or hey, you're not. Okay? So that's kind of the foundation that we've laid here, okay? Now, when I say dumping ground, I say that a little lighthearted just because that's just how my mind works. I don't mean that what they're putting on there is crap. And I don't mean don't back what people are putting on there. You guys know I would say that explicitly if I meant it, okay? So I don't mean that. I mean dumping ground is, and it's just like the stuff you just put all the bulk stuff, all the stuff you can't put elsewhere, right? Moving out of this house, as you can see, and kind of dealing with that whole thing, I have gone to the dump quite a few times with a van full. That's right, I got a van, not, I got 4 kids, okay? Leave me alone. A van full of just stuff that we don't need, that I just dump. Doesn't mean the stuff there is bad. I don't need it. I can't put the time to sell it or try and find an owner. My kids scribbled all over it or whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is you put it somewhere in bulk, right? Well, that's kind of what Gamefound's becoming. So let's talk through that a little bit. So here is Rise of the Necromancers. Now, this is by Mythic Games, which, as you know, I have liked a lot of their stuff, and I've had some issues with some of their early stuff. So, for instance, I'm very excited to finally play and fully appreciate Joan of Arc and see it to its fullest potential, hopefully, because that was a great game that was mired by some issues, okay? But either way, they have quite a few campaigns out. Now, when it comes to what they have out, they're going to be delivering some real quick, okay? My understanding is they're on the verge of delivering like 3 of them, I think, like fairly soon here. 3 or 4 even. Like they're going to be delivering here real soon for a lot of us that have put a lot of money into their campaigns. So again, this isn't a dig on any of these. I'm going to be talking about a few of these. But the point is that they either cannot launch on Kickstarter right now, or they choose not to put this on Kickstarter so that it's not one of the 3, right? What this system is making people do is it's making people decide which ones do I want on Kickstarter that count towards the 3, which is pushing everything else to the dumping ground, to Gamefound, that has no rules about this whatsoever that I'm aware of. So here is the Res Necromancers. Now this is one they expect to deliver within a year, which is, I actually believe they did the same kind of thing with Enchanters. This is their Phoenix line, where they kind of take a pre-existing game and say, hey, let's give the Mythic Games treatment. Let's make it all, fancified and have a good campaign run and all this other kind of stuff, and do the advertising and all that. In other words, they find a good game that's mired by a bad campaign and then put it in here to give it a good campaign too, plus this new expansion here, whatever. But either way, this could not exist on Kickstarter right now. It has to be Gamefound, so here it is. Now, I believe Mythic Games was probably already looking at Gamefound for something like this, so I don't think this is necessarily because of the rule for this one. However, that rule forces the issue, if that makes sense. Now, we also know that Ancient Blood, the Order of the Vampire Hunters by Darkgate Games, is also going to be here. This was a big thing that it was going to be on Gamefound. They kind of announced it last minute. And the reason they did that was, again, because if you look here, if you click on them, it's 7 created. 2 of those have been canceled, but either way, they have delivered this, they've delivered this, they have not delivered this, they've delivered this, not delivered, and I don't know if they've delivered this. Either way, they're cutting it real close, and I'm not sure they'd even count as, like in good standing, right? Because you have to have the other stuff too, and I know they've had some issues with getting product to people. I've been fine with my Dark Rituals stuff, but I know other people have had issues getting stuff from them. So either way, they're cutting it real close, and I don't know about if this soundtrack stuff counts. Because the soundtrack thing, the only reason this is a soundtrack is because Kickstarter also has a rule saying you can't launch a campaign for something that's already been on Kickstarter. In other words, you can't just sell your stock of Dark Rituals, which is what this was. So companies did the soundtrack option, where essentially they made a cheap soundtrack for like $5 that nobody really was backing for. I'm sure there's somebody, you can comment down below saying, hey, that was me. But everybody else, all normal people, weren't backing it for that. I kid. They were backing it for the actual product based on the region that they have and stuff like that. Now, again, Kickstarter, this would count as an undelivered campaign. It's not something you want to do. So now you do stuff like this, Twisted Fables Epic Collection, a fantastic game, but this is just their stock that they've sold. This is just the pre-existing stuff. They're not crowdfunding it. It's not Kickstarter. It's just get it and you'll get it shipped before Christmas, I believe. Yeah, delivery before Christmas. So very soon. It ends in 2 days, and then they're going to ship it right out to you, and you'll get it within a month. That's literally the promise here, because it's just sitting in a warehouse. There's no soundtrack, Jerry, rigging, kind of trying to fit it into Kickstarter's rules, because there is no rule on Gamefound saying, hey, you can't just throw stock up here. You can just sell product on here. This can be your storefront, and you can just dump whatever you want on here, anything you got in your warehouse, put it on Gamefound, you can launch it, you're good to go. And so that's exactly what Dimensions Games has done here. Now there is a little new bit, right? And maybe, behind the scenes, or where I'm not aware, they have you still need something new, and technically there is. Instead of the soundtrack, they have this playmat and stage card, which I totally backed at the full price because I'm an idiot and didn't click follow to save $5. Whatever. Anyway, the point is that you don't have to they didn't even need to put it in the title. They didn't need to pitch it that way or anything like that. It's just, here's Twisted Fables, buy that. And then, of course, and I'm not even going to show the screen here in this one because I'm just going to end on it, but CMON announced Marvel Zombies. You guys have known I've done several videos on that, but that is several months into 2022 because it is on Kickstarter, which means they have to deliver a few games first, like Massive Darkness, I believe, is going to be delivering soon, and a few others as well. So they're, I'm sure, in good standing. However, they still have outstanding stuff they need to deliver before they can launch on Kickstarter, even CMON. And so, yeah, there was a lot of worry that it would be kind of at the end of the year and it'd just be another heavy hitter around Christmas time, but nope, it's several months out actually. So, this is definitely forcing people to either wait on Kickstarter or run to Gamefound. Now, is this smart of Kickstarter. In other words, is it great that Kickstarter says, you know what, Mythic Games, put all your crap on Gamefound because we don't want to hear until you deliver this other stuff? I'd argue no. I mean, they're losing money, right? Is what they're doing. Which is kind of rough. So, especially because it gets big companies like Mythic Games to try out Gamefound for the first time, see how they like it, see if maybe that's where they want to launch their next big game too. Maybe they don't want to do it. I would hope, considering board games are 30% of Kickstarter's revenue, that it's about a third, that they would have contacted and worked with some of the big names like Mythic Games and Come On and stuff like that have done millions of dollars of fundraising on their platform, and let them know, hey, this is coming up. Hey, you're in good standing. Hey, this is how this works or whatever. Maybe they didn't. If they didn't, I would feel very blindsided by that if I was them, because at the end of the day, Kickstarter makes money by Mythic Games making cool campaigns and games, right? I mean, that Kickstarter is, rolling in the Benjamins because Come On exists, right? And so, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think we're going to see more stuff like all of this on Kickstarter or on Gamefound? Do you think that this is going to push some people to only do Gamefound? Do you think Gamefound will eventually have to start adding rules, just like Kickstarter had to eventually start adding rules once some bad actors come into play, once some sour notes come into play, once some unfulfilled things come into play? Are they going to have to add the rules after the fact, just like Kickstarter, or will they remain this kind of free, open thing? Or do you know some information that I don't, or have another good example? I would love to hear. I'd love to discuss with you guys what you think about all this, because, when I got the email about the Rise of the Necromancer saying, hey, it's going to be on Gamefound, Mythic Games, first time, I'm like, I'm not surprised. I imagine I'm going to see more stuff like that. So Ancient Blood announced, we're going to be on Gamefound this time, not Kickstarter like our other ones. Not surprised. It's the dumping ground, right? So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. Let me know what you think. And I'm going to get back to eating some candy that's bad for me. All right, take care, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day.